The morning on Oak Island began like any other, with calm winds and a faint mist hovering over the pit, where Rick Lagina and his team had been working for years. Yet there was a sense in the air that this day would be different. From the very first scan, it was clear that something unusual was buried beneath the surface. The GPR machine flickered and distorted, showing an outline that was impossible to ignore. Unlike natural formations, this object had straight edges and a clear rectangular shape, sitting 14 feet below the ground. Rick stepped closer, his eyes fixed on the screen, and felt the familiar rush of anticipation mixed with the weight of decades of history. The readings indicated metal, but not just any metal. The density was off the charts, far higher than anything found on the island before. It was as if the centuries-old soil was hiding a secret, waiting to be revealed. As the team gathered around the pit, a hush fell over the group. Marty leaned closer, trying to make light of the moment, but even he couldn't hide the tension building in his chest. The outline on the screen suggested a large chest, possibly pirate-made, but the possibility of tunnels beneath made everyone wary. Oak Island had a long history of hidden chambers, flood tunnels, and ingenious traps designed to protect treasures. The maps they pulled from archives only heightened the mystery. Some dated back to the 1700s, faintly referencing secret pirate storage pits. Legends spoke of Spanish ships hiding their wealth temporarily before retrieval, yet storms and shipwrecks had left many treasures lost to time. Rick's eyes scanned the map as he imagined the path of the Libra Ajaroa, the Spanish galleon whose fate had been debated for centuries. The serpentine emblem found on the first chest connected directly to the ship, suggesting that what lay beneath the ground was not random, but part of a highly organized pirate operation. The first excavation began cautiously. The drill pierced through soft clay and soil, descending toward the metallic outline. At 12 feet, resistance increased dramatically. The drill stuck, and a sharp metallic clang echoed from below. The sound was unlike anything the crew had heard before, immediately signaling that this was no ordinary rock or buried object. Everyone froze, understanding the significance of the sound. This was the kind of moment that had been whispered about
centuries, a true confirmation of hidden treasure beneath Oak Island. Rick signaled the crew to stop, knowing that any further forceful drilling could damage what lay beneath. Slowly, methodically, the team began clearing the soil by hand. Each bucket brought up fragments of history, traces of centuries-old construction, and the faintest glimmer of gold. Then, the moment that would define Oak Island history arrived. A small golden piece appeared in the corner of a bucket, its surface etched with intricate designs and carvings. The crew fell silent as they realized the significance of the discovery. This was no ordinary coin or scrap. It carried symbols identical to those found on Spanish pirate medallions, bearing the marks of the 1600s Caribbean piracy era. Rick picked it up, examining the details under the torchlight. The gold gleamed, reflecting years of secrecy and burial. Every historian on site would have been able to trace these markings back to specific pirate guilds, royal ships, and stolen treasures. The glint of gold was more than a discovery. It was proof that centuries of stories, maps, and legends were finally converging into reality. With care, the crew expanded the pit, revealing a massive chest beneath the soil. Its edges were lined with iron rivets, and the surface was coated in ancient tar, a preservation technique commonly used by pirates to protect valuables from water damage. Carvings adorned the chest, including a serpent emblem that matched historical pirate flags. The size of the chest alone indicated immense value, but the anticipation of its contents electrified the crew. Slowly, with hands trembling from excitement, Rick brushed away the remaining soil and began opening the chest. Inside, a cinematic sight unfolded. Densely packed gold coins, medallions, and carved discs reflecting the torchlight in a cascade of golden brilliance. The first valuation placed the chest between $80 to $110 million, astonishing the crew. This single discovery could rewrite the known history of Oak Island. proving that pirates had left behind complex, hidden vaults that had remained untouched for centuries. As the chest was lifted and carefully examined, Rick and the team noted the condition and composition of the treasure. Saltwater corrosion confirmed that the chest had been transported via ship and submerged near the coast before burial. The coins were remarkably preserved, most ranging between 22 and 23 carats, indicating extreme purity and significant wealth. The inscriptions, seals, and emblems connected directly to the Spanish crown and pirate guilds, suggesting that this was not random loot but carefully organized treasure. Each medallion told a story of voyages, thefts, and temporary storage, hinting at a larger network of hidden pirate wealth on the island. Ground scans beneath the chest revealed a shocking truth. This was only the upper layer. Multiple metallic clusters were detected below, indicating the presence of a larger vault or multi-chamber structure.
And the team realized that the first chest might merely be the tip of the iceberg. The cavity below was significantly larger, constructed with deliberate engineering techniques, including stone lining, water channels, and wooden beams coated in tar. These structures aligned perfectly with historical accounts of booby-trapped tunnels designed to protect pirate treasure. The challenge was clear. Any excavation had to be precise to avoid collapse or flooding, a risk that had stopped previous explorers in their tracks. By nightfall, the crew decided to continue with a secret, off-camera excavation. The atmosphere was tense, almost cinematic, with dim torchlight revealing glimpses of the engineered vault below. Every movement had to be calculated. The stakes were higher than ever. The air smelled faintly metallic, mixed with damp wood and centuries-old tar. The team's work was painstaking, digging by hand to preserve the fragile structure. Soon, the stone walls of the lower vault appeared, forming a complete chamber designed to withstand time and environmental pressure. Inside this chamber lay a second, even larger chest, partially open due to the weight of the overlying soil. A burst of cold air escaped as the lid cracked slightly, carrying the scent of sealed gold. The metallic shine within suggested that this vault was far more valuable than the first, possibly containing entire pirate caches, royal artifacts, and treasures lost for centuries. Rick's heart pounded as he observed the crack in the chest lid. The crew remained silent, understanding that they were witnessing a discovery that could change historical narratives forever. Ground scans confirmed that multiple metallic objects were layered beneath the initial vault, suggesting that Oak Island contained not just one treasure, but a network of hidden pirate hoards. This realization brought a mixture of fear and excitement. Any misstep could destroy centuries of carefully preserved secrets, yet every inch revealed added to the allure of uncovering history in its purest form. The significance of this discovery extended far beyond monetary value. It was a connection to history, piracy, and maritime operations from over 300 years ago. As the excavation continued, Rick examined each layer carefully. Evidence of hand-packed gravel, compacted clay, and wooden platforms suggested an advanced understanding of engineering by the pirates who built this vault. Flood channels indicated the possibility of traps designed to deter theft, showcasing an ingenuity and attention to detail rarely documented in historical texts. Every artifact, from the smallest coin to the largest medallion, fit into a larger narrative of Spanish pirate operations in the Caribbean and Atlantic. The chest's contents, along with the structural engineering of the vault, provided proof that Oak Island had been used as a temporary storage site for highly valuable treasure, meticulously protected and hidden from the world. As the team prepared to explore deeper chambers, tensions rose due to the presence of unmarked SUVs circling the site. Officials appeared, investigating the treasure discovery, and the crew faced legal and operational risks. The situation created internal conflict. Some sided with Rick, determined to reveal the truth to the world, while others, including Marty, advocated caution to preserve safety and legality. Despite the external pressures, Rick remained focused on the mission. He insisted that the excavation continue, understanding that the significance of the discovery outweighed the risks. The crew adjusted strategies, planning night operations with minimal noise and careful handling of equipment to avoid detection while continuing to uncover history. By midnight, the excavation revealed the main vault, complete with metallic walls, water channels, and wooden reinforcements. The structure demonstrated pirate engineering at its peak, designed to preserve and protect treasure over centuries,
each potentially holding additional chests or artifacts. The air inside carried a distinct metallic scent, the first sign of centuries-old treasure sealed in a protected environment. The crew proceeded cautiously, aware that the stability of the vault and its contents required precise and patient excavation. Rick and Marty communicated quietly, coordinating every movement to ensure the safety of both the team and the treasure. As the night deepened, the crew worked silently around the pit. Every sound seemed amplified in the cold, misty air. The dim torchlight cast long shadows across the vault's edges, highlighting the metallic sheen of the second chest. Rick and Marty stood at the edge, carefully directing each movement, ensuring that no soil fell onto the chest or disrupted the fragile wooden beams holding the structure together. The air was tense, heavy with the weight of centuries of hidden history, and the crew felt the significance of the moment pressing down on them. Every discovery so far was unprecedented, but the metallic readings suggested that the best was still buried below. Rick instructed a small team to carefully clear the remaining soil around the second chest. The wood had been tarred for preservation, but centuries of pressure had warped it slightly, creating the risk that any sudden movement could cause a collapse. Each bucket of soil was lifted slowly, every handful sifted to avoid missing any clue or object. The chest's surface showed more pirate markings, each line and curve carefully carved. These emblems, repeated across multiple chests and documents, indicated that a pirate guild had been involved, meticulously planning the storage and security of their wealth. The crew could hardly believe what they were seeing. This wasn't just a chest of coins, it was a carefully engineered piece of history, a puzzle left by skilled pirates for future generations to uncover. Finally, the crew managed to clear enough soil to reveal the lid of the second chest almost completely. Rick reached forward cautiously and placed his hands on it. The chest was heavy, much heavier than the first, and as his fingers pressed against the tar-coated edges, a faint metallic glint appeared through the small crack. The chest had been sealed in such a way that the air inside had been trapped for centuries. As the lid shifted slightly, a cold gust of ancient air escaped, carrying the faint scent of metal, wood, and the unmistakable tang of gold. The crew instinctively stepped back, understanding that this was a moment centuries in the making. For a brief second, the island was silent, as if the earth itself was holding its breath. Rick slowly pried the lid further open, revealing the chest's contents. The sight was almost surreal. Inside were stacks of gold coins, medallions, and larger carved discs, each marked with emblems linking them to the Spanish crown and pirate guilds. The coins were perfectly preserved despite centuries of burial, their edges sharp, their surfaces gleaming under the torchlight. The medallions carried intricate designs, some showing serpents, crossed sabers, and crowns, while others displayed symbols historians had only read about in archives. Each item told a story of maritime adventure, piracy, and lost treasure. The sheer quantity of gold suggested a value even higher than the first chest, potentially doubling the estimated $110 million. The crew exchanged stunned glances, realizing that Oak Island's secrets were truly priceless, greater than anyone had imagined. While examining the second chest, Rick noticed that the lower compartment of the vault had not yet been explored. Ground scans indicated several metallic clusters further below, suggesting that the main vault extended deeper into the earth. This meant that the two chests uncovered so far were just the upper layers of a far more extensive network. The construction of the vault itself was a marvel of engineering. Stone walls carefully aligned, wooden beams coated with tar for waterproofing, and narrow channels likely designed to protect the treasure from floods or intruders. Rick and Marty realized that the pirates had not only hidden their wealth, but had built a system to ensure it remained protected for centuries, and that system was now being slowly uncovered by a modern-day crew. The team took a short break, allowing everyone to gather their thoughts. The excitement was mixed with tension, the potential value of the treasure, the historical significance, and the risks involved in excavation created a unique atmosphere. Rick reminded the crew to stay focused. While the gold itself was remarkable, the story Oak Island was telling through its construction, its engineering, and the artifacts was just as important. Every coin, every medallion, every structural element of the vault was a piece of history waiting to be documented. The crew returned to work with renewed determination, digging deeper and carefully probing the lower vault for further hidden chambers. Hours passed as the excavation progressed. The soil and stone layers required patience and precision. Any misstep could damage the structure or trigger water channels designed to flood the vault. The team uncovered more signs of human construction: hand-packed gravel layers, compacted clay, and remnants of wooden platforms that were nearly intact after centuries. Rick examined each layer closely, noting the techniques that mirrored historical accounts of pirate engineering in the Caribbean and Spanish-controlled territories. The vault had been designed to survive for centuries, protecting treasure worth unimaginable sums, and now, after hundreds of years, it was being brought to light. The metallic echoes from beneath the vault hinted at even more hidden treasures. Rick's experience and intuition suggested that there might be several additional chests, each containing artifacts, coins, and possibly royal cargo from Spanish ships. Historical maps and journals supported this theory, describing how pirates would hide wealth in temporary storage locations and return later to collect it. Unfortunately, many of these ships never returned due to storms, naval conflicts, or shipwrecks, leaving their treasures forever buried. Oak Island had been one such storage location, and the evidence in front of the crew confirmed that centuries-old predictions and theories were finally manifesting in reality. By late night, the excavation revealed the entrance to an even larger vault section. The stone walls continued deeper, forming a rectangular cavity that extended several feet beyond the second chest. Rick, Marty, and the team realized that this structure had been designed as a multi-chamber vault. The layout suggested that the pirates had planned to store multiple chests, distributing weight evenly to prevent collapse and protecting their hoard from environmental damage. Small channels along the walls hinted at flood protection mechanisms, exactly as described in centuries-old accounts of Oak Island. The engineering was both simple in design and complex in execution, reflecting centuries of maritime and engineering knowledge applied to treasure storage. The team paused to review the scans and measurements. The vault's depth was now estimated at nearly 20 feet below the surface, with multiple metallic clusters spread across the lower chambers. Rick and Marty discussed the plan. Any attempt to retrieve these deeper treasures would require extreme care, additional structural support, and nighttime operations to avoid detection. The presence of unmarked SUVs earlier in the evening had reminded the crew that such discoveries were not only historically significant, but could attract attention from authorities or private interests seeking to claim the treasure. The plan was to continue cautiously, documenting every step, preserving the vault, and ensuring that Oak Island's secrets remained intact while uncovering its incredible story. The night was long, and the work was painstaking. The crew carefully removed soil from the edges of the lower vault, exposing stone walls, wooden beams, and evidence of tar coating. The metallic echoes grew stronger as they approached deeper layers, suggesting the presence of additional gold, coins, or artifacts. Rick handled each discovery with care, fully aware that centuries of history were literally in his hands. The atmosphere was tense yet electric, with the torchlight reflecting off metal, illuminating the determination and awe on each team member's face. As the first hints of a third chest began to appear beneath the second, excitement and nervous anticipation swept through the crew. Every inch of soil removed revealed more evidence of the Pirate Guild's planning and skill. The chest itself was massive, likely containing treasures exceeding the combined value of the first two. The carvings, emblems, and structural details confirmed that this was the main vault chamber. The air trapped inside for centuries had preserved the contents remarkably well. Rick and Marty knew that this discovery would change Oak Island's story forever, revealing not just treasure, but the genius and determination of pirates who had operated hundreds of years ago.
Medallion, or artifact, was lost. As the third chest's lid became visible, a faint glint of gold reflected in the torchlight. The crew held their breath. This was the moment they had been waiting for since the first chest was uncovered. The air in the vault felt heavier, almost charged, as if centuries of history were pressing down on them. Rick reached forward cautiously and traced the carvings on the chest's lid. The symbols were worn but recognizable, matching historical accounts of pirate markings in Spanish archives. The chest appeared to be sealed from the inside, and as Rick lightly tapped on the lid, the hollow sound confirmed that it contained dense metal. The anticipation in the vault was almost unbearable. Every crew member understood that this chest could contain gold, medallions, or other priceless artifacts that had remained hidden for over 300 years. The chest had survived floods, storms, and centuries of secrecy, and now it was about to reveal its secrets. With extreme care, the team began to lift the third chest from the vault. The ropes creaked under the weight, and the wooden beams supporting the surrounding soil groaned in protest. Slowly, inch by inch, the chest emerged into the dim torchlight. When it finally cleared the soil, the crew could see its full size and the intricate carvings etched across every surface. Unlike the previous chests, this one was divided into compartments, each likely containing different treasures. Rick and Marty instructed the team to open it piece by piece, documenting every object and keeping the integrity of the chest intact. As the first compartment was opened, stacks of gold coins spilled into view, some bearing the Spanish crown seal, others showing pirate emblems. The coins were incredibly well preserved, with edges sharp and inscriptions clear. Next to them lay medallions and carved gold discs, each carrying designs that historians had only seen in rare archives. The coins alone were valued at tens of millions of dollars, but the medallions and larger artifacts suggested an even higher total. Rick carefully lifted a medallion, examining the intricate serpent carving. It matched symbols found on the first two chests and appeared to be part of a larger code used by the Pirate Guild to mark its most valuable possessions. Deeper compartments revealed small gold bars, each stamped with a Spanish royal insignia. Some of the bars had traces of saltwater corrosion, suggesting that they had been transported by sea and stored temporarily on Oak Island. Historical records mentioned the disappearance of Spanish galleons carrying treasure, and the evidence in the vault confirmed that Oak Island had been used as a secure storage location. The realization struck the crew. They were uncovering a centuries-old storage network designed to protect a pirate empire's wealth. Every coin, bar, and medallion told a story, and Rick knew that documenting it properly was just as important as extracting it. While the team worked on the chest, Rick and Marty studied the GPR scans of the